The human brain consists of 70 to 100 billion neurons. This is proportional to the number of stars in the Milky Way. And as the celestial bodies move toward each other, so the nerve cells are connected by trillions of synapses. Neurons transmit information to each other through them. Such continuous traffic is like movement in a big city. In a city that develops, grows, changes, and attracts attention. So in such a city, it was decided to create the first hospital of the future of independent Kazakhstan. At the turn of the millennium, the president of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev, instructed to raise a huge medical cluster in Astana that would include several large scientific medical centers, each of which should have its own narrow profile and provide services at the level of world standards. Vital essential instructions began to appear from scratch. Heavy supervision was carried out for their construction. So in 2008, the National Center for Neurosurgery was established, the unique clinic in Kazakhstan that specializes in neurosurgical pathology and provides a full range of services, from diagnosis to early rehabilitation of patients. The equipment that is used here has no analogs in Kazakhstan. With its help, detailed diagnostics are performed and neurosurgical operations are minimally invasive and as safe as possible for the patient. In total, there were held more than 20,000 operations. About 37,000 patients have received medical care during 10 years of work of the center. It was here that for the first time in Kazakhstan were introduced fundamentally new sections of neurosurgery: microneurosurgery, endovascular, endoscopic, and functional neurosurgery. A total of 66 new technologies that were not used previously in Kazakhstan and Central Asia. For example, in the vascular neurosurgery department, high-tech medical care is provided to patients with the pathology of the vessels of the brain and spinal cord, and also treats epilepsy and Parkinson's disease. Conducting complex operations on large and giant aneurysms, on treatment of large and deeply located vascular malformations, hypervascularized brain tumors. Neurosurgeons of the center have extensive experience in the treatment of the vessels of the central nervous system. Doctors use an operating microscope and a navigation station, which allows you to calculate the optimal trajectory of surgical access. Their high qualification allows performing operations on the vessels of the brain of any complexity. The Department of Central Nervous System Pathology helps patients with benign and malignant brain tumors, metastatic CNS damage, brain cysts, patients with hydrocephalus, abscess, and parasitic brain damage, as well as the defects of the bones of the cranial vault. Here, the accesses, techniques, and methods of removing tumors are continuously improved in order to maintain adequate blood supply and brain functionality. Surgeons of the department actively use the intraoperative neuronavigation system to access the functionally important areas of the brain. And with tumors of the cranial vault, pituitary adenomas, and are located in hard-to-reach and dangerous areas where major vessels, cranial nerves, rami pass, the endoscopic transnasal transphenoidal axis are applied. This is a minimally invasive method that minimizes the risk of damage to the brain tissue. The post-operative period in such cases is easier and faster. Intervertebral disc hernias, degenerative stenosis of the spinal canal, spondylolisthesis, consequences of spinal injuries and traumas, as well as nerve plexuses, are treated in the Department of Spinal Neurosurgery and Pathology of the Peripheral Nervous System. Tumors of the spinal cord, spine, and peripheral nerves are removed too. Surgeons use the newest microscopes, endoscopic and neuronavigation equipment, intraoperative CT scanner, electron optical converter, as well as high-frequency and plasma coagulators. All this ensures high accuracy of operations and minimizes risks for the patient. Doctors of the Department of Pediatric Neurosurgery specialize in the treatment of pathologies in children from birth to 17 years. Surgeons perform complex operations on different parts of the central and peripheral nervous system, the vessels of the brain and spinal cord, and the spine. Approximately 1,100 children are treated every year. The department has all the conditions for a comfortable stay of young patients. There are 4 specialized wards for nursing newborns. After complicated operations, patients are transferred to the Department of Neurorehabilitation. Also, patients who have the consequences of severe craniocerebral, spinal, and cerebrospinal injuries, as well as problems with the peripheral nervous system, are admitted here. Individual rehabilitation program, which allows to completely or partially restoring the impaired functions, is prepared for each of them. Besides the medical treatment, patients attend sessions in the sensory room and have group and individual classes and physiotherapy exercises. Mechanotherapy, ART therapy, acupuncture, physiotherapy, hydrokinetic therapy, and massage are conducted. The patients are being watched by psychologists, and speech therapists help the people with speech pathologies. 6 out of 18 beds are designed for emergencies in the Department of Anesthesiology, Resuscitation, and Intensive Care. Wards are fitted with modern equipment with neuro-monitoring systems, evaluation of neurological status, and monitor computer tracking of all vital body functions. Respiratory therapy and rehabilitation in case of impaired respiratory function in patients in the post-operative period are performed here. A wide range of neurosurgical services have been provided on a fee basement in the Department of General Neurosurgery. The difference in receiving treatment here is a quick hospitalization as well as an individual approach. The Department of General Neurosurgery is located in a separate block. There are single and double wards here, conforming the comfort level. The department has its own operating room. And in cases of surgical intervention, all the modern methods and equipment of the center are involved. Foreign patients are attending here, and their numbers grow rapidly. Patients are attracted by the advanced developments of the specialists of the center, conducting in cooperation with the scientists of the Nazarbayev University and National Center for Biotechnology. Fundamental and clinical research studies in various areas of neurosurgical science are reflected in the articles and theses published in foreign and national journals. There are issued 7 monographs and 8 methodological recommendations. Journal Neurosurgery and Neurology of Kazakhstan is published on a quarterly basis and is included in the list of journals recommended by the Ministry of Education and Science. 7 innovative patents have been received. Currently, there are 3 realized scientific projects. Another update of the material and technical base is already planned in the near future. In 2019 is expected the installation of the Gamma Knife Complex. Its introduction will allow treating brain tumors and vascular pathologies by radiosurgical gamma radiation, that is, without surgical operations. Effective and safe. Also, an increase in the spectrum of surgical interventions for epilepsy is forecasted. A stereotactic biopsy of tumors of the brain system is expected. Thus, in addition to clinical work, the center combines scientific and educational activities. More than 1,500 people have completed courses of advanced training here. More than 90 people retrained. The students are being trained of the residency in neurosurgery and neurology. Such dissemination of knowledge allows performing transfer of medical technologies into the regions of the Republic. Doctors of the Neurosurgical Center teach their colleagues from other regions of the country the innovative approaches in the spine surgery and spinal cord surgery, microneurosurgery, and neuro-oncology. Minimally invasive methods of hemorrhagic strokes treatment help to perform endoscopic operations on brain and spine. During the center's work, 56 technologies were introduced into the regions, by means of which over 1,000 patients received treatment throughout the country. To improve the work of the entire neurosurgical service of Kazakhstan, doctors of the center also conduct active work with regional neurosurgeons in the areas of sanitary aviation and on advanced training of specialists in general. Over 10 years, the clinic specialists have more than 80 visits in various regions of the country for advisor assistance and more than 50 on-call operations. In addition, conferences for young scientists, masterclasses, meetings devoted to current issues of sciences and practices are regularly held based on the Center for Neurosurgery. Doctors of the National Center for Neurosurgery act as lecturers and take part in international conferences held by other scientific and clinical centers of the world. In the nearest plans of the Center of Neurosurgery is the Second Eurasian Congress of Pediatric Neurosurgeons, the training courses of the World Federation of Neurosurgical Societies, and the reaccreditation of the JCI International Joint Commission. The result of continuous improvement became the international recognition in the form of numerous awards and prizes, including the International Quality Certificate ISO 9000 and the European Grand Prix for the quality of patient care. Today, the Center is a member of all over the world's neurosurgical associations, such as the World Federation of Neurosurgical Societies, WFNS, European Association of Neurosurgical Societies, EANS, and Asian Congress of Neurosurgical Surgeons, ACNS. Today, the National Center for Neurosurgery has 12 departments, including 6 clinical departments with a planned capacity of 160 beds. The clinic has already become the flagship of medical innovation. Now it is an advanced scientific and clinical center in the field of neurosurgery. Only the best specialists are invited to work here. The majority of the center's doctors have been trained in the best foreign clinics in the US, Italy, Switzerland, Austria, Germany, Israel, and Russia. Internship abroad, including those for nurses, takes place annually. These professionals are ready not only to save lives but also to share knowledge, so that high-quality medical care is available to the maximum large number of Kazakhstan people and country's guests. For the 10 years of continuous and meticulous work, doctors have achieved incredible results. Therefore, today the team of the National Center for Neurosurgery is already a constellation of the best masters of their field. The leading lights of Kazakhstan's medical science are constantly on the way to cognition.